as soon as we met, dude, I'm like, we're gonna do something one day. I don't know when, I don't know what, but
Yeah.
we like vibrate on the same frequency.
Yeah. No, I mean, and it's, I don't know, just, I mean, you never know who has what opportunity for you, or I don't know, just be an open person and just listen. That's the biggest thing I got is just listen.
And we got a lot of people watching this and listening to this, and I want to try to help you out right off the bat.
Yeah.
So if there's anybody listening to this and watching this, would you happen to be able to keep an eye out, or have you come across Matt Strahm's Superfractor? It's a 1 of 1.
Right.
He's been looking
Yes.
for it, at least up until this point. It hasn't been
Yes.
found. But if you see it, let him know.
There should be an autographed one and a non-autographed one, and then there should also be a Bowman mini one. So I'll take any of them. If anyone's got one, there should be a Bowman Chrome one too. So anyone's got one, I'm your guy. Let's work out a deal. I need it.
And only one of them you actually kind of have some sort of idea where it actually went. So I'd almost feel like it'd be better to not know where any 3 of them are, but at least where one of them could be, at least state-wise, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, and I mean theoretically, it could still be wrapped in a box that someone has sealed, and Aaron Judge is doing a great job of making those boxes way more expensive because the dude's on another planet right now.
Yeah, well, I think you're on another planet in your own sense, because I was just recording with Logan O'Hoppy the other day. He was drafted in the late 20 rounds, and you were drafted in the early 20 rounds. And
Yep.
since 2010, there's only been a handful of dudes, like I'm talking at the time of this recording, just over 20, who have actually made it to the big leagues. And I'm saying that to let people know, because if you're playing baseball or playing any sport, not to think like, oh, it's impossible, but you are an example of that. The impossible is possible because it's been done. You've done it. You can do it. So, dude, you're gonna fire people up right now. But like,
I
I'm so
appreciate it.
pumped up. I'm so
Yeah, I
pumped
mean,
up.
I joke all the time that I was a first rounder, so I was a 21st rounder, so I was a first rounder, just in the 20th, 21st.
I like that. I like that.
When you get to the big leagues, they call you up to the bus, tell us your name, tell us all this. And before I even got up there, someone asked me like, "Were you first rounder?" I was like, "Yeah, the 21st round," and they all busted up, so it was good.
That's like a good teaser to how the rest of this is gonna go, because you're just a laid back, fun dude. You like to work hard, and from North Dakota. And what blows my mind is that the Northeast, all of the tri-state area, we have so much pride when it comes to baseball, because it's like, that you're not able to play outside as much as the
Right.
southern states. And for you, there's snow on the ground 7 months out of the year. Coming from North Dakota, you picked up a baseball when you were 5 years old. So what were your earliest memories of playing baseball?
I mean, my earliest memories of just sports was, I mean, like you said, we get all the seasons. So, I mean, I just grew up playing everything: basketball, football, baseball, and, just always loved sports. I was left handed and athletic, and I always got told, "Oh, you're going to be a pitcher. You're going to be a pitcher." So, I just kind of gravitated towards baseball. My family was a basketball family. They both grew up playing basketball. And, yeah, I just gravitated towards baseball. And my mom and dad were fortunate enough to believe in this 8-year-old saying, "I'm going to play in the big leagues." And they fed my dreams, and here we are. I mean, yeah, it's crazy because it's all like, I know everyone says it, but it's all a blur. I hope one day, like when I retire, like it all just kind of forms together of what it was. But I mean, I see pictures of myself pitching in high school, and I'm like, damn, dude, that was almost 15 years ago. Like, that doesn't seem real. It's nuts.
That's crazy when you think about it. And even too, like your brother Ben is playing professional baseball, and he was drafted by the Giants back in 2018. And growing up, you had him to play with, so it's like you had that person to have a catch with who was actually also into sports. I mean, growing up in my family, my brother, he was like a valedictorian, very smart, always
Yeah.
studying. I love him to death, but it's kind of hard to find a throwing partner at times. But you had that
Yeah.
throwing partner.
Yeah, I mean, he's 5 years younger than me, so I mean, he was thrown into the fire right away. I mean, he was practicing with our 11-year-old team when he was 6. He was stubborn enough to try hold his own constantly, and yeah, I was very fortunate enough. I mean, there's countless times I was able to convince him to strap up catcher's gear and squat for me. So couldn't even count how many times he's done that. But honestly, I think like our relationship between us, just because we were 5 years apart, once I like got into high school and got serious about baseball my junior senior year, Like he wasn't in high school, so our we were never around each other except at home. And then when I went to college 12 hours away during his high school years. So I mean, I don't think I ever watched my brother play a high school baseball game. So that's kind of unfortunate. But I mean, now that I mean he's my catch partner every day now in the off season. So I mean he's still getting worn out and he's wearing me out. And I just actually thumbed him pretty good, threw him a slider and got his thumb pretty good. So no, it's I mean it's a blessing no doubt to have him, and you know, very very fortunate for the family I have.
When it comes to the other sports, you played basketball up until your sophomore. You're in high school, didn't always have the best knees.
Knees weren't my problem in basketball. It was I was 5'8" with size 13 shoe. I could barely walk and chew bubble gum when I went through my growth spurt. It was weird because like I was
I was trying to
athletic
help you
all
out.
yeah, I was athletic all the way up until I was about like 13. And then when puberty hit for me, it was like my feet went out and I didn't know how to run with these flippers and I wasn't growing yet. I had a growth spurt my junior year finally, but yeah, my freshman, sophomore year, they were a struggle athletically.
What about hockey? Because I think a lot of people, when they think about North Dakota, they think about hockey. And your
Yeah.
uncle had season tickets to the University of North Dakota, which is a
Yep.
great hockey program. So you'd
Oh
always go to
yeah.
games there. But like, there was nothing that really kind of sparked your interest on the hockey side of things, or
Yeah, I think it was I was just I mean, my parents were raised on basketball, and basketball up in North Dakota, especially Class B schools, a smaller town, it's kind of a big deal. And so I just think my family was never interested in hockey, so I never was really presented the opportunity of it. I about I don't know, probably eighth or ninth grade, picked up some skates with some friends and just would play pond hockey. And I mean, I got a hang of it. I can only stop one way. I can't stop with my right leg forward for some reason. I just can't trust it. But no, I can skate a little bit, and I grew up playing pond hockey with some friends. I enjoyed it, but I just don't think I ever gravitated towards it because I just was never presented the opportunity. But honestly, that is my favorite sport to watch live is hockey,
dude, same.
hands down, bar none. Watch like people watch it on TV. I agree with you. It's not the most fun to watch, but when you watch it in person and realize how fast they're going, how quick that puck's moving and how quickly they change directions, like if you like watching athletes, just watching them move, they're in my opinion, they're the best athletes we have. But it's
Dude, I
unreal.
feel the same exact way, and you kinda got the hockey flow right now, and I know you did as a kid growing up, and so so that's been pretty consistent, but in your room growing up too, you had the walls the color of the college that you want to go to.
Yep.
You wanna play for the Sooners, but this is what's crazy, and this is what one of the things I love about you most and what I think everybody's really gonna enjoy hearing is that when you were in high school, you were the 3rd best pitcher on your high school team, and a lot of people, who knows, maybe they'd step away, maybe they would just not enjoy it as much, but dude, the 3rd best, and you didn't let that stop you from becoming great at what you did, or at least continue to play and be encouraged to play.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like I wasn't playing because I could swing it and I was playing first base every game for us. So like I was getting to play baseball and I loved baseball. But I mean, yeah, we had two kids that threw. I mean, everyone down south's gonna laugh, but we had two kids throwing mid to upper 80s, and no one does that in North Dakota. I mean, we have the occasional guy that'll throw upper 80s and hit 90, but I mean, we had two guys that were mid to upper 80s, and they didn't need me. I mean, it was you just throw fastballs by kids at that level, especially if you had any velo, because we'd never see it. We don't. I mean, when you're up north, if you're not on a big traveling team, you don't travel to. If you're just playing town ball, like you just don't see it. So I mean, it was hard for kids. I didn't throw hard, so that's why I wasn't the best. I could always locate and do that, but I didn't throw hard. I think my freshman year of college, I got my scholarship by throwing 83 miles an hour across the diamond from first base. Wasn't even off the mound. Like I threw
Wow.
like it was a crow hop. Like I knew I was being radared across the diamond, throw it as hard as I can, don't care where it goes, kind of thing. And I think on the mound that day I hit like 79. So that was my senior year. Yeah, that was my senior year of high school, and then my freshman year of college in the fall. Like I think I got up to like 84, and then by my sophomore year in the spring, I was up to like I would hit 92 or 93 occasionally, but usually pitch around like 89, 90.
So with that, there's like a few different things during your high school and early college days that just kind of reminded me of Brandon Woodruff, where it's just like you come from a small town. He only had like 13 or 14 kids on his high school baseball team. So That more often than not, he had to pitch those 7 or 9 innings.
Yep.
There were these crazy stories, like, he threw a baseball and somebody who was in the stands had one of the police radar guns.
Yeah.
They clocked him at, like, 90 something miles per hour, like, crazy stuff like that, and, like, that's the type of stuff that you hear from smaller schools like yourself, and, like, he used to have to drive really far to go to showcases, and that's something that you had to do too.
Oh yeah.
How far was that drive? Wasn't that over, like, 10 hours
Uh,
just to go to a showcase? And it cost you money to get there.
yeah. I mean, I think where do we went to Lawrence. I think Lawrence from Fargo was like 10 and a half hours or something like that. My mom's the one that like researched it all and just asked. She's like, "You want to go?" And I was like, "Sure." Drove down. I think it was like you get like essentially they run you through like a workout. I think you get like 10 balls in the cage. You hit 10 balls on the cage. And then you would run your 60. Then you would take ground balls, throw it across the diamond from your position. And then you'd get a bullpen of 20 pitches. And then they would do a scrimmage at the end. And you were given like 2 at bats and 1 inning to pitch or something. And so it was like, I don't even remember what it was, like 250 to $500, somewhere in that range to sign up for this. And went down there, and that's how I got my scholarship. Was Neosho County pitching coach saw me there that day, and that evening they had called me and offered me a scholarship. And literally, as my dad and I were driving back, mom, dad, and I were driving back to North Dakota, we get a call from them asking if we wanted to come visit, and it was like, well, damn, should have called us before we left. Like we're 2 hours from home now, like, and they would have only been like an hour and a half south of Lawrence there or whatever it is, and I remember like a week and a half later, my dad and I got back in the car, drove down, saw campus, and was like, "Yep, I'll come here. Let's do it."
Wow, I didn't know that second part that you drove back down there, and that's something that, like, I don't think a lot of kids would wanna do or be willing to do, or I don't know, maybe they'd hear that and be like, "Dude, I'm not driving 10 hours to this school," and
Yeah.
that was the only coach that had talked to you that day, wasn't it?
From that showcase, that day he was the only one that called. I got a call from a smaller, I think it was either an NAIA or a Division II school somewhere in Iowa, and I had an offer from an NAIA school in North Dakota that was a bigger NAIA, I guess. I don't know. Like it was just they were in a better conference, I guess, and so it came down to my goal out of high school was to go as far south as I could. And when you mark Chanute on a map compared to the other offers I had, they were about 4 hours further south than everyone else. And it was like, I'm going there. So I stuck to my commitment of further south we're going. So
Dude, yep, and no matter what, people will find talent, and that's what happened with you, and another thing that kinda reminded me of Brandon Woodruff also and you is that, again, some of these stories that just seem like complete myths, and you
yeah,
had touched on this at the beginning of talking about college, but you went from throwing low 80s, and then next thing you know, you're in
right,
the 90s. You're gonna say this better than I would, but a bucket of balls and a brick wall.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, just tell the story because this is awesome, I love this.
So when I went home for my freshman year off season, obviously going back to North Dakota in the middle, I think we left for winter break. We left like December 14th to January 14th, I think is what we got. We got like a full month. So I was going back to the frozen tundra, didn't have anywhere to throw. There's a few baseball places that have popped up since, but before there wasn't many options, especially to throw 90, 120 feet. Like a couple guys had cages set up, but like 75 feet's all you could throw. So I found this soccer like training facility. Like they would do a bunch of like other strength training, whatever, but it was mainly soccer. And they had this big brick wall at the end of like a track that was, I think it was like 50 meters long, so like 150 feet. I sat there and I had a bucket of balls and I had this concrete circle. And it started like I would throw it, pick them up, throw it, pick them up. And then it got to a point of just like pure laziness of like, I'm sick of picking these up. So it's like, I'm going to throw it so hard it has to come back to me. Like it's going to roll to my feet. So like I would sit there and like I would, like I would get to the last one of the bucket and like I want like 10, 5 more throws, whatever. So it's like, okay, these are going to be absolute heaters. So I can like get the ball to come back to me so I don't have to go down there and pick them up. And so I think just that like stubbornness of not wanting to pick up the baseballs forced me to throw harder. And I'm a huge believer. This has also helped me with pitching in the fact of like a lot of guys long toss. I don't like to long toss. I like to throw hard on a line. Like, I don't see many NBA players practicing their three pointers from the half court line unless they're Steph Curry. We pitch at 60 feet 6 inches and we pitch at a downward slope. So I'm not huge into turning my shoulders up to throw it long distance. I'd rather keep everything on a plane so that when I have to go to the 16-foot or 16-inch slope, that now my shoulders on this plane, it's a lot easier to work over the front versus like coming over and all this. So that's just in everything pitching wise, in my opinion, is so individualized that like I'm not right, you're not right, nobody's wrong kind of thing. And that's what helped me a lot. And I threw long toss out the window and just was like, yo, whoever's my catch partner, I'm sorry, but we're throwing lines and lines only. And here
Just
we go.
darts.
Yeah, like I mean, in order to throw hard, you have to throw hard. Like I know it sounds cliche and dumb, but to move fast, you have to train fast. Like it's part of it. So
All right, now get this. A lot of people have seen the movie Rocky. They've seen the movie Rudy and The Rookie that features Jim Morris, who's also on this show. He's the man. Definitely listen to that episode or
awesome,
watch it.
awesome. I
But
will.
Chris Coast, who's a North Dakota dude, there's a few
Oh,
other players from North Dakota like Roger Maris and everybody.
yeah.
I know Darren Erstad was your favorite player growing up. He's from a town nearby. But Chris Coast, he had a book review from Vince Papale, who was the football player who Invincibles after the movie. Vince Papale said that Chris Coast, who was the 33-year-old rookie, and that's the book that he wrote, he said that Coast is a combination of Rocky, Rudy, and the rookie, all about not giving up on your dream. So when you're
Oh,
talking about throwing these balls, putting dents in them, just going back to North Dakota, just finding anywhere that you could. I'm thinking about it's the same exact type of thing, like Rocky, like hitting the meat in the
yeah.
freaking freezer.
Yeah, in the
Like that's
freezer.
that's like essentially what you were doing. And then to throw into the mix, you had some fuel and some added fire from one of your coaches who basically called you into his room with another coach. And again, I know you're going to be able to tell this much better, but this is also part of that. Don't give up
Yeah.
on your dream because you got to have the horse blinders on. And you had a very could have been a pivotal moment with a couple of your coaches.
I mean, we joke about this all the time. He tells a story almost every time I go back to college, but I would like to reach out to him, see if he has like these rankings still. So they always used to do rankings for pitchers, and they would do them every other week. We would inter squad twice a week, so you got to pitch once a week, and they would do rankings every other week. And I want to say like the first rankings, I was 26 of 27, and the last place kid hadn't even pitched because he hadn't finished his conditioning test. So like I was last place essentially, and just slowly. I mean, I was walking a ton of guys when I got down there to school. Like I got to school with a bunch of Oklahoma, Kansas kids that played ball 8 to 9 months out of the year. So when I see this first kid that steps on the mound and he's 6'4" and the first ball he throws is 93, I'm like, what am I doing here? Like I did not have that in the tank. But I think it was just again, my whole fall was I was trying to throw hard because everyone threw hard. I never threw hard. I would always pitch in high school. Like I would pitch it to I never threw hard. And even in high school, I never played catch to throw hard. I would always play catch to warm up to go take ground balls at first. And like I never worked on throwing or playing catch. And so yeah, the first rankings come out, they're awful. I think my next like two outings in they're 1 inning apiece. I think I walked like six guys over the next two. And then, I mean, slowly I was getting outs, but I was walking a lot of guys. And I think I was like 18th. And then I had a bad outing where I don't think I got an out, gave up like two hits, and then I walked three in a row and got pulled. And he basically called me into his office and in nicer terms told me I was wasting mine and my parents' time. And he'd never cut a player. Like he doesn't cut people. He'll tell you on day one of the meeting, freshman and sophomore year, it was the same meeting, and he says we have 37 of you, and I've never started a season with more than 35. He's like, two of you are going to quit. Like they just can't handle his program. It is a little. When you look at it, people would shake their head at it, but I mean, he has his way and it works. And you know, he won't cut you, but he'll make you either put your nose to the grinder and work, or you'll walk away. And he pushed me.
Yeah, so when he looked at, his other coach and he said, like, "Were you drunk when you recruited
Yeah,
him?"
yeah. He asked him, he's like, I think Sadler was drunk when he recruited you, he said. And Sadler's sitting right there. I remember Coach Sadler always used to sit with his legs crossed, and I remember he had these like you know those little pop-up chairs that are circle and like you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about? Like the
yeah,
little
yeah.
and I remember Sadler sitting over there and he just like kind of looks at me with this blank stare, like, I really got nothing to say. You've pitched like shit, so I got nothing to say. And I'm like, ah, dang. So
Yeah, you're a pretty laid back and fun dude too, so like, were you laughing? Were you trying to not laugh, or were you like, "Holy crap, I might actually go home next week"?
no, yeah, it was like it was definitely like a serious like talk. So there was no laughing matter, but I think it was just kind of like a reality check of like, yo, it's time to work. Like you think you're working, you're not working. And you know, I picked the one person ahead of me that was always better, chase them down, then get the next one, chase them down, then get the next one. And I know like it's teammates. Like, don't get me wrong, like love all my teammates. I want all my teammates to succeed. But in this game, especially when you're trying to get to the big leagues, like you're competing against everybody in order to get to the big leagues. So, you know, like just you don't definitely you're not cheering against your team. Just pick someone that is like it's kind of like ping pong. Like, do you ever get better at ping pong if you play someone worse than you all the time? Probably not. But if you play someone really good, I've noticed that with ping pong all the time. Like when I just play certain people, it's not good. But then when I get with my brother and we start playing, I get so much better just because he's good at ping pong. So it's like it sharpens my game. Like, you know, just steel sharpens steel. So, you know, just pick somebody and just chase them down and I mean work with them. Work to their level. And then once you get past their level, find someone else and work to their level. So that's what that talk is honestly what kind of instilled that into me was like, okay, I just need to like, you're 18th right now. Like there's four starting pitchers because we play double headers on the weekends. So like you got to get number 16, then you got to get number 15 and then just keep going. And by that started in the fall. And then by Christmas, before I started playing catch with the wall, I think I left school in like the 6 or 8 range, somewhere in the 6 or 8 range. And then when I came back in the spring, I was night and day different. I was sitting 84, 85, throwing strikes. My breaking ball was way bigger than it is now, but I could throw it backdoor and for strikes. And all of a sudden, opening day came and I was our number four. So it's kind of cool.
Dude, yeah. No, I just love that you just kept on like plugging away and you didn't let that break you down because it easily
Yep.
could have. Like we said, it was a huge pivotal moment. And I couldn't agree more with you where it's like you find somebody to help you get better. You said ping pong, and it could go for in the work world, it could go for in the
Anything.
gym. I used to work out at 5 o'clock in the morning with my buddy Cags, Coach B,
Yep.
and Scott Burrell, who used to play in the NBA.
Yeah.
He won a title with Michael Jordan, the Bulls. And this is at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I was by far in the least best shape out of all of them. And at this time, Burrell's like, he's in his 40s, whatever. But I was kind of looking at them in a way of like, all right, they're here. We are all going to get better. They're going to help me get better. I see him busting his ass off. He already won his title. He's already done with his playing
Exactly.
days. Why is he still busting his ass off? Well, why am I not busting my ass off? So let me pick up to his level. And then eventually, over time, over those 3 months, 6 month periods, you get to that point or you continue getting forward to that point. So, like you said, it can be anything. It could be baseball, it could be ping pong, it
Right.
could be working out, it could be all these different things. And that's so clutch. And I just recorded with Winton Bernard and it took him 11 years to get to the big leagues. And he had a great minor league career. And the entire time we were talking, where it's like you see everybody get called up, everybody's getting promoted, and you're just sitting there. You're like, why am I not getting promoted? But
Right.
it's not why am I not getting promoted? It's like more of having that mindset or trying to have that mindset of I see that he or she is getting promoted. I see that he can do it.
Yep.
Now I know that I can do it as well. It's just a matter of time. So this is exactly what happened to you because then you get
Yep.
drafted in the 2012 draft. Let's go, baby. I'm pumped.
Yes.
Dude, I'm
Yes.
fired up,
Yes.
man. Shit.
Yes, sir.
It first rounder, baby.
I love it.
Dude, hell yeah. But yeah, so you get drafted and then it's like again going back to just never giving up on your dream. Boom, 2013, little Tommy John action. Not exactly the ideal way, but it helped wrote your story.
No, yeah. I mean, Yeah, when so my freshman year, I think I threw like 76 innings or something like that. And then my sophomore year, I threw 99 innings in school and then I got drafted and then went to rookie ball and threw like another 17 to 20 or something. So went from like 80 innings to 120 and my arm just didn't like that. That was I mean, before that in North Dakota, you're lucky if you get 40 innings. So, just a big increase in workload. And then I showed up to spring in 13 and I couldn't throw a ball 90 feet on a line. And my elbow was just barking. Every time I would throw the ball and let go of it, it felt like someone was hitting me with a hammer in the back of my elbow. So I rehabbed it for, I think it was like 3 months. We rehabbed it, started a new throwing progression. I got all the way up to like the live BP throwing progression. So for people who don't know, you usually like play catch out to 150 over the course of like 4 weeks, and then you'll throw like two or three bullpens, and then you'll go a live BP, and then you'll get back into rehab games and then games. So I got to the live BP portion, my last live BP, threw a pitch. It didn't really feel too good. And then I think I only had like two or three more finished up. And as I was walking into the locker room, I went to go take my jersey off over my head. And when I did that, I felt like something just roll up into my arm. It was like, ooh, it was still tucked
Oh
into my
my
belt.
God.
Rookie mistake. It was still like tucked in. So like I yanked on it and it just pulled. And I put my arm down. And as soon as I put my arm down, it was like an ice pack, like just rush, if you know what I mean. Like just that, like it just felt like a rush. And by the time I got to my locker and into the training room, it looked like someone had put like a tennis ball under my elbow and it was just all swollen. And 2 days later, they flew me out to Kansas City. I had MRIs and everything, and they were telling me like, dude, your UCL is good. Like it's it's attached. Like it's actually really good for someone who pitches. Like usually we see tears, blah blah blah, and they're like, yours is good. And I'm like, guys, I cannot throw a baseball without wanting to cry. Like that's not good. And they decided I ended up having like a bone spur in there that was attached, and they said it could have been rubbing on my tricep tendon, which was the feeling I was getting. So they scheduled me for like exploratory surgery, opened me up to they were going to remove that bone spur, and then they wanted to look to see if my UCL was stretched because an MRI wouldn't show that, I guess, because of how you're in the tube. And apparently, when he took the scalpel out from opening me up, I subfluxed on the table. Like that's how loose my UCL was. And he said it looked like a Laffy Taffy when you like pull it apart and it's just like hanging there.
Ooh.
So woke up with Tommy John and did all that rehab. That was like a 16, 18 month process. Yeah, I don't think I threw a pitch until the end of 14. So yeah,
Wow.
I didn't throw a competitive pitch until from 2012, like September 2012 to September 2014. I almost went 24 months without throwing a competitive pitch.
Dude, that, that
Yeah.
is that is
Yeah.
nuts. Wow. So Adam Ottavino, buddies with him, he had recorded and filmed his entire Tommy John recovery just to show people how lonely it can be,
Oh
how
yeah.
it's not exactly the most ideal thing, how you're spending a lot of time in the trainer's room, which is where
Oh,
I've heard you made the joke before that you've met more than half of your teammates in
yeah.
in
No,
the trainer's room.
unfortunately I'm very familiar with training rooms. Got what do I got? Like four surgeries under my belt now for so I got the training rooms figured out.
Yeah, and like and again, kind of like what we were saying before, it's all part of your story, right? You have this kid who grew up in North Dakota. Again, there's snow on the ground 7 months of the year. Yeah, you went to high school. You were the third best pitcher. You were a hitter too. Then you go to college, and you only got one call from a college, and you went there, and you almost got cut. Could have been two of the last 37 of the 35 on the roster.
Yeah.
You get drafted, and then you get into this situation, and it really is like what Vince Papale said about Chris Coast. Like you're pretty much the same thing because it again you get into the to the professional system and you get this injury so young and you're not I'm going to say second rounder. You're not a second
Yeah.
rounder or
No.
third rounder. So when you get that surgery and injuries like that, you have to work 100 times as hard just to keep
Yeah.
on going because you're not that investment, that shiny car that the team just bought. So like, what was it that just kind of kept you going and kept on bringing that fire? Because you eventually did debut in 2016 without even playing a day in AAA, but what kept you going? What kept you swinging?
the fear of what I would do without baseball. Like, I mean, honestly, it's been option A, and I've never had an option B. Um, it's something I've always wanted to do, and it was again like even if I would have gotten released, like dude, Chris Coast was my idol. I grew up hanging over those fences at Fargo Moorhead Redhawks games, and this dude did it until he was 33 in independent ball. Like, baseball, you're not making money doing that. Like, you're barely eating doing that. So like to have someone that I watched and saw. I mean, I watched that man win a World Series, which I got chills just thinking about that. And yeah, I mean, it was option A, and I was gonna I was gonna do it until I can't, and I still plan to do it until I can't. I mean, I look at some of these guys hanging up, and it's like I get the family thing again. Like stuff changes, like you said earlier. Like as we're going in this life, like you pick up a dog, then you pick up a wife, then you pick up a kid, and it's like you just keep going. So as long as my wife and daughter and family are willing to let me play the game, like I plan to play this game as long as I can. I've seen guys walk away from the game, and it's like, dude, they're gonna pay you $500,000 to play in AAA for a few months and possibly get called up with an opt out. Like, you sure you don't want it? And they're like, nah, dude, I'm good. And it's like, I don't know what else I'm gonna do. Like, I want to play baseball. It's my adrenaline. It's what makes me tick. I don't know.
Yeah, and knowing that you're a big hockey fan, Chris Chelios, he said that he never even thought that he was going to make it to the NHL. So once he got to that level, he was just playing with house money. And I've
I
heard
say
you
that all
say
the
that
time.
time and time again in every
Yep.
single interview, whether I read it or watched it. But you guys have that same mentality. This is just house money.
Well, I mean, and I even look at it from like I'll have friends ask me like the pressure of a pitch. It's like, dude, they put me in the game with a 2-run lead in the ninth. They trust me, first of all. Second of all, I got here as a 21st rounder. Like, why shouldn't I have all the conviction in the world with this one pitch over the plate? Why do I need to go on the corner? Like, here you go. I got here doing it the hard way. So like you said about investments, I always tell young guys, I was like, your signing bonus is Chuck E. Cheese tokens. Don't waste them. Like if you got $1,000, you got 1,000 Chuck E. Cheese tokens. If you got 7.6, you're gonna be at Chuck E. Cheese a lot longer than me. Like you get to stick around. You get the chance at the big toy. I got 1,000 of these things to make it work. So it's like just make them count, and just work is what it all boils down to. But it's crazy to me. Like again, Rich Hill's my idol. The guy loves baseball, and I mean, I think we're all just like addicted to competitiveness, like just competing. And I mean, that's the household I grew up in. I mean, my mom put me in the ER over a game of musical chairs. So I mean, it's I grew up in a competitive family where winning is everything, and I mean, it's winning's addicting.
So who won? Did your mom win or did you win?
Oh, she won. She won. She won. I had to tell
She's letting you know who runs the house.
yeah, what is it like the child services or whatever, like at the
Oh, yeah,
hospital.
yeah,
I
yeah,
ended up
yeah.
having to meet with them because apparently like I had a dislocated elbow. What happened was I went for the chair and she went for it too, and my arm got stuck between two what do they call them? I don't even know, two of the rods in the chair. My arm got stuck and she slid this way
The
and it
arms.
hyperextended. Yeah. And it dislocated my elbow. And so we go into the ER. And granted, I had been to the ER multiple times for dislocated shoulders, but this was from my cousins. We used to have inner tubes at the lake that would go, they were big tractor tires, and they would grab me by the arms and bounce me and throw me into the lake. And I separated my shoulder one time doing that. So I think it was like within like 3 months, and I was back in the ER with an elbow dislocated. So I had to meet with these people, and they're like, "Are you safe at home?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, we're just playing games. Mom won, but we're just playing games. Like, yeah. So yeah, it was like competing is what drives me, and that's what keeps me addicted to baseball. Is just, and that's what's cool about baseball is it's a game within its game, especially as a pitcher hitter. Like, you and I are having our own game as 18 of us are playing the whole game, but I get all these little games throughout the game. So that's what I enjoy the most about pitching. Like, I know a lot of pitchers are like, oh, if I could hit, I would hit. Like, I love hitting, but it's like I enjoy pitching. Like, it's me versus you, and I get all these other little games inside of this game.
Dude, dropping wisdom left and right. And again, you don't have to be a baseball player to enjoy this or anything. This applies to anything and everything in life, and
Right.
you can relate it to your own, whoever's watching and listening to this. And dude, yeah, so you just had it up until this point, and I'm sure you will continue to have such a great career, whether it's your time with the Royals or the Padres or the Phillies or even the Red Sox. But you have just made the most of your career. You literally define keep swing, which is exactly why I want to have you on.
Yep.
And we're at the halfway point right here, and I definitely want to talk to you about the baseball card and the card life and all the
Yeah.
other stuff that goes into that because I've had people on this show like a Josh Hader or trying to think off the top of my head, Tristan McKenzie, all these guys, right?
Yep.
Who you could tell are good people, and I believe in you guys, and I think that not only your message on the field but also off the field as well is so great, just because you know how to build the game, you know how to make it fun, and you know how to do stuff that can last forever, like hosting a TV show. So I know you said that as a kid, very competitive in the household, whether it was playing musical chairs or being out on the
Yep.
lake and just playing sports, but you were a huge card collector as a kid. Pokemon derailed you for a little bit.
Oh, that's a soft spot. That's a soft spot.
But yeah, so like you really enjoyed baseball cards, and it's kind of cool how it's stuck around for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I grew up I think my collecting as a kid was pretty similar to most. Like, I would get the team sets every year for Christmas. We'd occasionally get like a few packs here and there, but I mean, for me, it was mostly the Minnesota Twins is who I like to collect, and then all the North Dakota guys. So like Rick Helling, Darren Erstead, Travis Hafner. Love to collect those guys. And then yeah, I got into probably like around I don't know 11 to 13. Probably quit opening baseball cards and started opening Pokemon cards. And I had a lot of Pokemon that my brother ended up trading for a skateboard, which unfortunately they would have been worth a lot of money today. But yeah, so I mean that was the extent of my collecting, and then I probably didn't get back into collecting until like 2018 when my brother moved in with me and lived with me. He's a big entrepreneur. Like he's always, I mean, I call him a sneaker flipper. Like he could flip anything. So he was opening cards one day at the house, and he was flipping them. And apparently, a buddy of his down in college would do it all the time. Like was into collecting and trading and selling cards. So Ben was doing it, and one day I opened up a box of cards, and it was I don't know it sparked my inner 10-year-old, and it was downhill ever since, or uphill, however you want to look at it. My wife might say downhill, I say uphill, but it's however you want to look at it.
So Ben's still trying to make up for trading the Pokemon cards for the skateboard, and you turned into a pack rat by him bringing the cards home from Target, which you pulled a Fernando Tatis out in '99. And
Oh
I
yeah.
saw in one of Strahm Stadium Pulse videos that you had gotten some PSA cards back. And was that one of the ones that was graded a 10?
Yeah, that one ended up gemming.
Nice.
I think I graded like 5 cards. It was 5 cards I had hit on the show or on my YouTube or whatever. I don't think the Tatis I hit on my YouTube. That was like just my brother and I opening, but the other ones were like a Bo Bichette Gold Rookie Refractor out of Topps Flashback, Finest Flashback. Then I hit a Super Fractor Auto of Pete Alonso out of that product.
When you were recording the video, and
Yeah,
I love listening
dude.
to it with the audio and without the audio, because
Yep.
without the audio, you can see the handshaking, and with the audio, you
Oh
can hear
yeah.
your voice. I'll
Oh
play it
yeah.
right here for everybody to hear.
Hey, oh my gosh. I am shaking right now. Oh my goodness. This is my first ever one of one. Oh my gosh. I need to grab a penny sleeve in the car. Top loader right now. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, that was so funny, dude.
Dude, it was crazy. Like, and also what's funny about that is so as soon as I sat down up there, like I had made the plans, like I wanted to open it up there out on right field just because like that's kind of an iconic part of that park. So I wanted to open them up out there. And the first 2 days it was like chance of rain. So I was like, I don't want to open them up out there. And I always tried not to open up on day games because day games it's so rushed once you get to the field. But I never sleep well in San Francisco. I don't know, it might be the hotel or whatever. So I was up early and I was like, I'm just gonna Uber to the field and do this quick. And I got out there and it was super windy. And usually when I do like a pack opening, I usually would like, especially if it's like the first pack I open and it's a hit, I'll like set it down and I think in the video I even go to like set it down and I'm like, oh no, we're just gonna do this now because it's kind of windy, and I didn't want to set it down, and then I do it and like I'm all shaky, and it was probably not best either. That like that's the first thing I did when I got to the field. I should have probably ate some food because I was probably still on my coffee jitter too. But like, oh dude, it was crazy. It was yeah, it was nuts. Pulling a 101 is I don't know. It's do you ever hunt? Have you ever hunted? No,
No,
grow
but
up
I
hunting.
actually do have something right here next to me that I think everything that you just described is kind of comparable. But
Yeah.
I think I know where you're going with this. The dopamine hit, just
Oh dude.
the waiting game, and then you get it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's
I could actually
nuts.
show you right now.
Yeah. What do you got?
All right, baby, check this out. So I had an Instagram video about this. So people listening to this or watching this may have seen this, and I'll describe it for anybody who's listening to it. But check this out. Topps Archives,
Oh, Will Ferrell, baby. That is sick.
numbered 6 out of 10. On
That
card
is sick.
auto. I know you love your on card
Oh
autos. I'm the
yeah.
same exact
Gotta be
way.
on card. That
But
is
yeah, so
sick.
this was from 2015 Topps Archives, and this is actually
Yep.
what kind of brought me back into the hobby because I forget what happened around that time, but it was just a bad time. And Becca, I think she was just trying to get me in good spirits, and
Yeah.
like you said before, it has so many good ties to your childhood and happy memories. So she went and bought me that box, and this was 2015, so it's not the card market that it is right now. And she was like, "Oh, Will Ferrell might be in this, so let's get this one." And it was in the box, and it was literally I think it was the first or second pack that I opened, and we have it on camera too. But I got that, and I'll tell you what, exactly what you said about the Pete Alonso card. I have not experienced any sort of similar feeling to
No.
opening this card right here to any other. And I'm sure again, like that's probably the same way about the Pete Alonso, an on card
Yep.
superfractor while you're at the ballpark.
No, I mean it's unreal. My brother just the other day actually pulled his first superfractor. It was Chris Archer. Nothing against Chris Archer. Like it wasn't like the biggest card of the product. But again, like it's his first one on one. I remember he opens the pack and as soon as he saw that like gold bordering, he's like, oh, dude, a super. And I was like, no way. And he's like, and he shows me and I'm like, let's go, what do you got? And then he pulls it and it's Chris Archer and he's like, it's a superfractor still. And I was like, yes, dude, like that's sick. But
Yeah,
no,
it
that
might
was
be his only one ever, and that might be your only one ever, but you're gonna keep on
yeah,
trying to get more.
yeah,
What's so awesome about this is that I'm a firm believer you just do good things just to be genuine, authentic, and
hmm
just to try to lift others up, help people,
right,
be of service. And in 2020, when you started Strahm Stadium pulls, you were being of service because it was COVID. People couldn't get into the stadium. You want to have some fun by opening up cards at the stadium, and then just as a byproduct of you being a fun person, a good person, building your own brand at the end of the day, it then led to a TV show that you're on across the country.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
dude,
no,
talk about a byproduct that you had zero idea would ever even happen. That's so cool.
yeah, no. Brandon, actually, the producer, reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I see you're doing this YouTube channel. I'm starting this Card Life show, and was wondering if you'd be interested in hosting it." And I mean, it wasn't a hard sell at all. I was like, "Yeah, you want to?" I mean, I get to go around. I get to see so much cool stuff. Like, check this out, dude. This was given to me in Seattle. This is
Wow.
The first ever North Dakota baseball player. I forget what year it's out of. Um, but then, dude, turn it around and it's signed by him.
Dude, no way.
Yeah, like
Dude,
so,
that
like
is sick.
just the stuff I get to see and everything. Like, I mean, it's crazy. And this dude just gave this to me. I was like, bro, like I gotta buy it. Like, I don't know what it's worth. I gotta buy this from you. Like, I can't just take it. He's like, no, no, no. And then he also gave me with this. He also gave me this dude's senior portrait, like his senior school portrait or something. Like it was not just the stuff I get to see is crazy. And I mean, and Brandon does such a good job with like the scheduling and everything. It's not even work, dude. Like I have 3 hours before going to the field one day, and he's like, hey, come here, here, and here, and I Uber to the spots, and within, I mean, most of the time I'm not ready to go. It's like I want to keep listening or seeing what we're doing, but I got to go to work. So, but but no, it's been a blast, and I've learned a lot in the hobby as well. But just again, I'm a pack rat, so to see all these other like see set builders and all this stuff, these guys who just like collect one player and like seeing how big of collections these people have of one player. I remember this young kid in Kansas City had I'm gonna forget the kicker's name again. Butker, the Kansas
Oh,
City.
Harrison Butker?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Dude, I don't know
he's got
anything
an
about football, but somehow I knew that.
yeah, there you go. And this kid had an unbelievable personal collection of them, and it's cool to me that hobbyists get, I don't want to say that attached to, but that invested in a player that it's like, I'm gonna have all your cards. But I see the collect like the sales side of it. I'm not a huge fan of what this hobby has become with the prices and everything. But I get that side of it, and I get how people look at them as stocks and all that. I joke all the time that my base cards are my penny stocks. I'm just gonna put them away. They're my penny stocks. We'll see what happens to them. So, but
Like your Bowmans when you stash them for 10 years?
oh, dude, I have like, those
That was a
five.
great point, by the way.
Yeah,
Awesome, awesome advice that you gave about Bowman cards because very, very relatable in terms of you don't know who they are until
dude.
later on.
Like,
Because I ended up cutting up like a ton.
how about that kid for the Yankees, Oswaldo or whatever?
Oh yeah,
His Bowman cars before the year were like selling for $1.42, and that these are like base ones. And then all of a sudden they were 12, $15 when he debuted and starts doing his stuff. So it's like,
for
that's why, like,
base.
I understand why people sell cars and do it. It is very smart. I mean, if I had the time and all that, like, I mean, my wife is always telling me I should find a way to get rid of some, but again, like, I like them all. I like to sort through them. I like to look at them, so I'm never looking to sell them. And again, like, I don't have a like, I don't know. I guess maybe it's different because I play in the league, so like I just kind of collect what I open. But like I don't have like one player I'm gonna like go buy your individual cards of, if that makes sense. Unless you hit a home run off me. If you hit a home run off me, I'm buying your rookie card. I'll put your rookie card in my box.
I'm so happy that you said that because like you collect what you love. I know you're a pack rat. You literally just said that, but you collect what you love and what has meaning to you, right? So the card that you just showed us and everybody we just talked about, the player from North Dakota, yeah, sure, it's not Babe Ruth, it's not
No,
freaking Ty Cobb, it's not whatever, it's not Albert Pujols, but it is something that has meaning to you, the North Dakota tie. So collect what you love because I think once you fall into the trap of like buying the Oswald Peraza cards or all
yep.
these other cards. And then that's where it kind of gets a little slippery and you're like, all right, well, what exactly am I doing this for?
And I also think it can make you resent collect. Like it's gonna make you, in my opinion, resent what the hobby is designed for. Like this is designed to bring you together with sports. These pieces of cardboard to be traded and sold, sure, but like when you're buying a $5,000 card and you only have $10,000 in your bank account because you're expecting it to go up to $7,000 to $8,000, like that in my opinion is going to make you resent this hobby. And again, just be smart with it and do what you love. Like find a card that you are like, if you want to buy an individual card, find one that you are okay displaying in your house forever if it absolutely tanks. Because like athletes, we can't control it. Like people will ask me like, what's a good card investment? And I say Pokemon, and they look at me, and I'm like, Charizard's not going to tear an ACL. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
his
He's,
story's
he's always
written
going to be
like,
healthy.
yeah, his story's written as he is this superior Pokemon. So invest in Charizard or Pikachu because they're not all of a sudden write a script that cancels Pikachu. Like it's just not happening.
Yeah. And then even too, when it comes into it, now we're kind of getting like deep into this, which we could probably
Yeah.
talk about it all day. But when Ken Golden was on, because you make a good point about Pokemon and Charizard, like not getting injuries or they're always going to be there.
Yep.
Ken Golden was telling me, he was like, dude, soccer is international. It's always going to grow. It's always going to be huge. So
Yep.
like soccer will, so Pokemon and I think sports wise soccer, but
Yep.
like exactly like what you just said, like I definitely, dang, I should maybe take this out of this case. Oh,
Get that PSA, dog. Get that
I
PSA.
know. I got a couple of cards PSA'd. I knew that they weren't going to come back at 10. A few of them got 9s, but I had them from my childhood. Ken Griffey Jr., foil, MLB Showdown, and then a
That's
Wayne
sick.
Gretzky card. Yeah, but it was exactly for that, to have
Yeah.
them in the office one day. But
That's the thing with PSA cards too that I get. That kind of just, it's like the fixation with a 10. It's like, dude, it's still a sick card. Like
dude, yeah,
it's
yeah. They
like,
use it as a frame. It's freaking cool.
yeah, and like granted they are authenticating it and they're telling you exactly what shape it is in, but like you got it like encased. Like that to me is what you are that's what you're using PSA for, and the grade is secondary. But again, it goes down to I get the figuring out value and all that because a PSA 5 Mickey Mantle versus a PSA 10, that's life changing money. So
And a lot of this stuff you learned again along the way just by doing the TV show and experience opening your own packs. And Phil Hughes, who helped you start the YouTube channel back
oh
in
yeah.
2020, which is crazy because my first actual publication in my entire career is back in 2005 when I was still in high school with Baseball America. And it was an interview with Phil Hughes in
Oh,
Lakewood.
that is crazy. How small is this world, dude? It's tiny.
It is nuts. It's crazy.
It's tiny.
And then, like, again, as I do more research, it's like, dude, yeah, and we have the same, yeah.
I'll have to send you this comedy skit when we're done here. It's like, forget his name, Paul something or Pete something. And he talks about like, you think you're on Earth right now? Zoom out. You're gonna rock in infinite nothingness. It's like, yeah, we are tiny. It is small. But no, it's funny.
All right. So also too, as we come to a close, you mentioned the PSA. It doesn't really matter too much about what grade it is because it's awesome to display. During your career so far, I know of 2 items that you have gotten. One was a David Ortiz autographed jersey when he played against him. You broke his bat, which is pretty sweet. Not many people can
Yep.
say that.
I don't know if I broke his bat. I think it was about 114 off the bat.
You didn't break it?
I didn't break. I don't think I broke, unless he broke it just slamming it on first base on his way down to first base and didn't do a double play. But that dude scorched it because I remember it like yesterday. Butera wanted a curveball, and I remember standing on that mound thinking to myself, like, this is the one and only time I'm going to get to face this man. I am challenging him with a heater, and like Butera gave me curveball, and I shook, and he kind of turned his head and gave me curveball again, and I shook, and then I threw a heater away. And I yanked it in, and he peppered it, but it caught Alcides on a one hop, and he turned 2 with it. So it was a scorcher.
That all makes sense then because I was going
Yeah.
to say I'm surprised that you didn't pick up the bat or try to bring it home with you.
No,
But
no.
then the other player too that you have.
I got a ball signed by Pujols, just a ball.
So where's all this displayed right now?
So honestly, that's kind of what also helped me get back into cards. So my rookie year, 2017 or 2016, got the jersey, and then in 17, I got the ball from Pujols. And then it was kind of like when I was home in the off season with my brother looking at cards, I had all this stuff, and I had other teammate stuff. Like I think I got like up behind me here, I got Mitch Moreland, one of his gold gloves. It's pretty cool. It's not his gold glove, but a gold label glove. I got Trent Grisham's glove that he used all year and won the gold glove in. So like I got some cool pieces, but it got to a point where it was like I can't display all these, and it's so hard. And then once I was opening cards, I was like, dude, these are way easier to display, and like it's so much cooler to take out a box and sort through cards, and like again, like just I don't know, I don't know. It's different from like just art hanging on a wall versus like holding it in your hands. It's different for me.
And they tell a story too. I'm sure like a lot of the things that you display tell a story. I could see the Peloton and I could see the jersey right there on the left-hand side of the screen or right-hand side of the screen right there. So like you got that there up there as well. And does that give you any inspiration when you're on the bike, just plugging away on it, or maybe your wife? I know at one point she couldn't get to the bike or something because there was too many boxes of cards.
We got home from the off season, and I opened up quite a bit of product, and I was just shipping it home, and my brother was setting it in this room. And I would say for like the first 3 weeks of being home, she couldn't get to her Peloton, and finally one day she came in and she's like, "Yo, I'm riding my bike on Thursday, and you're gonna figure out how." And I was like, "All right, yep, figure it out, move around." Get you
just going. Sweat drops on a Ronald Acuna first Bowman edition.
Just dripping all over it. I got a couple 101s just chilling here. Got a Bob Gibson cut auto 101.
Oh wow, dude, that's nice.
And then a Reggie Jackson on card auto 101 patch.
Oh, dude, that's a great patch. I love any time that you could tell what part of the jersey that is from, and on card, which like, dude, I love on card. There's just some about stickers that I'm not a fan of because it takes them 2 seconds.
Right? Yeah, and then also too, like the guy never handled the card. The basketball stuff, dude, when people are paying, again, fact checked it, but like $1,800 to $2,000 for a Prism hobby box with a sticker auto in it, bro. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's nuts. That I would never do that.
I have a hard time. What is it? Triple threads or something like that. I have a hard time buying that. I haven't bought any of it because it's like I know I'm gonna be immediately pissed if I pull a sticker auto. Like it's just gonna be like, dang, that was a waste of money.
Even the Topps Fire, which is like the most affordable for a lot of people, because you get them at Target, you get them as hobby boxes. Even those, most of them are stickers, and it's just like it's got a cool design, but also too, it's still a sticker. So it's like,
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Just get the guy to sign it. Like it's I mean, they're making so much money that it should be doable.
so the two last things again before we go into the bonus content on the card subject, because we're wrapping up that hour.
Yeah.
One for the cards. So moving into your new place, no matter what, whether you move in somewhere next week or
Yep.
5 years down the road, you decide to remodel the man cave, the office, whatever it is. Do you plan on having the jerseys that we talked about or the autographed baseball and some of your cards on display? And the reason why I asked that is because I don't know what writer it is. There's some good writer in American history who would always write books, and he'd surround himself with shelves of books by some of the greatest writers just to kind
Yeah.
of feed off that energy, because he just believed that
Yeah.
he would get some of that energy. And that's something that I want to do too, the day that we move into a house or have that space that I have my own studio in, that I have the jerseys up of Keep Swinging guests, all the guys who I know in
Yep.
baseball, not so much to collect them, but like you, if somebody hits a home run off you, like you want that memory, but also too, when it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm researching, or if I'm editing the video, cause I do all this myself, I want that extra juice and I want to be able to see that jersey, or like say your jersey. And in the back of my head, I'd be like, well, if he made it to the big leagues, if he got through the Tommy John surgery, if he did all this stuff, what's stopping me from editing this video and making it the best video that I
Right.
possibly can? So for you with the cards, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely have plans for displaying it when I'm done. I got to figure out where I'm going to live first, so that's still on the checklist to figure out where we want to call home. But
Which that'll be the
no,
next
I
like
mean,
15 years possibly.
yeah,
For
I
you.
mean, until my daughter says quit, we're going. So, but no, I mean, I I definitely want to have a good display. We did an episode of the Card Life in Cincy, and they had an unbelievable card display where it was like, you remember like those poster shelves in Walmart where like you file through the
Oh
posters.
yeah. Yeah,
They
yeah,
had
yeah.
that. They had those, and they were double sided, so you couldn't see the back of the card. Which to me, I'd rather have them like see through on both sides, so you can see the front and the back. Because, I mean, again, maybe it's just because I play, but like the back of your baseball card, we always joke about. Like I always tell guys too, like if you don't want to throw a pitch, don't throw the pitch. It's your baseball card. Like that stat's going to be on there forever. Like it's the back of your baseball card. So I like the back of baseball cards. So like I have plans of like I want to do like a shelf like that. Someone's probably going to create it now and make a bunch of money now that we're talking about it. But just I want like a poster type thing display, and then two, just for like all my other boxes. You remember like the old library like file things to like find the book? I want a big wall of that with just all my penny stocks just in them and like labeled. I want it all labeled and all that. So that's my goal this year. Actually, this year going to Philly, I'm bringing all my cards with me so that hopefully, probably not all of them now that I say that, now that I look over my shoulder, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna bring as many as I can and sort as many as I can and try get it all figured out and have it organized. But because I mean, when I rip during the year, I just put them into a box and it'll be Topps Chrome with Bowman Chrome. I want to have a pretty epic card display when I'm done and have it set up. But how I'm going to, I have no idea. I don't know that I'll collect many more jerseys as I go, just because I mean cards are kind of my niche now, and I mean again I don't send cards over to the other side to get signed by other guys. It's not like I don't know. I compete against you. I'm going to compete against you. If I share a clubhouse with you, I have you sign stuff for me if you want to, but I'm not a send them over to the other side kind of guy.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And I guess just to wrap up the main episode, when it comes to the TV show, so this is just speaking from experience, because there was a show that I had hosted that was also, before it was Bally Sports, it was across all of the Fox Sports regional networks. And I used to have friends text me who lived in Nashville, who lived in Cleveland, Ohio, who lived in San Diego, Texas, Florida, all these different places. And they'd be like, dude, I'm at the bar. Look who I see. And like at the time, like we're both, me and you, we're both like humble people. Like we
Yeah.
just do things because we love to do it. Now that that show is no longer on the air, part of me is kind of like, Man, that was kind of cool. And the last couple of years, I worked a lot on just trying to like celebrate like small wins, because you
Right.
don't never know if something's going to be taken away from you. So I bring that up because you being in a position right now, I know that you pitch, I know that you're on TV
Yeah.
all the time, you have your own cards and everything. But like, do you realize how cool it is, and also too, like, what are you doing to remember those times that you host these shows and get the reps in there, because it's cool and not everybody can do it.
Yeah. No, I think like a surreal moment for me. I was at the clubhouse and I got a video from my wife. They were at a bar, they were eating before coming to the game, and my daughter, the card life was up on the TV, and she's got her videoing it saying, "Daddy, Daddy," and like pointing at it and everything. So that was really cool. Also go back home. We go to a bar with a couple of my buddies just to catch up or whatever. I usually see them once a year, and we're just sitting there, and an episode of The Card Life comes on, and some random dude from across the bar, like I don't know him, and he just stands up and he's like, "Hey, is that you?" And he like points at me. And I was just like, yeah. And like, it's like, "That's sweet, dude." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, dude." Like, and then it's like, "All right, let's go to a different bar. Let's go down the street here."
Those are great memories that you're always going to have too. And I love that you got on video of your daughter also. We got a video too. Just like that stuff that you're always going to have, and that like your family will be able to cherish later on down the road, because when your daughter's old enough to understand all this, and then it's like, oh wow, that was so cool. Cause again, it's just so unique. It's what I love
Right.
about you, dude. You are the man on and off the field. And now's the time for the plug. I want you to shoot out all your social media channels. Where can everybody go to follow you? Cause I want people to be able to follow along your journey and just see everything unfold, because dude, you are inspiring, motivating, and yeah, you are great for the game of baseball and just for anybody who's just trying to get better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big social media guy. I'm not very good at posting, but it's just Matt Strahm on both Twitter and Instagram. But you can find a lot of the card content over at the Card Life, Instagram and Twitter. It's the Card Life. But yeah, trying to get better at that, but need to get better at it.
Dude, you are the man. Matt Strom, thank you so much for hopping on Keep Swinging. That was awesome. Super grateful for your time. And yeah, dude, I can't wait to see how everything unfolds for you, brother.
Appreciate you.